Hello, this is the Greenbrier Valley Church of the Nazarene with your daily devotion for Monday, April the 18th. Today we are reading from the book of Acts, chapter 16. We will be reading verses 1 through 10. And here is the word of the Lord. Paul came to Derbe and then to Lystra, where a disciple named Timothy lived, whose mother was Jewish and a believer, but whose father was a Greek. The believers at Lystra and Iconium spoke well of him. Paul wanted to take him along on the journey, so he circumcised him because of the Jews who lived in that area, for they all knew that his father was a Greek. As they traveled from town to town, they delivered the decisions reached by the apostles and elders in Jerusalem for the people to obey. So the churches were strengthened in the faith and grew daily in number. Paul and his companions traveled throughout the region of Persia and Galatia, having been kept by the Holy Spirit from preaching the word in the province of Asia. When they came to the border of Mysia, they tried to enter Bithynium, but the Spirit of Jesus would not allow them to. So they passed by Mysia and went down to Troas. During the night, Paul had a vision of a man of Macedonia standing and begging him, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." After Paul had seen the vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. And that is the word of the Lord. The article today is titled Thwarted Travel Plans. And the articles this week will be written by Dana Porter. Dana is from Lenexa, Kansas, where she works at the Global Ministry Center of the Church of the Nazarene, and she is the Senior Assistant for International Board of Education. Here's what Dana writes. It's part of the human experience to have a travel schedule that does not go as planned. It can be frustrating to have our plans changed without our consent. In simply trying to get from point A to point B, we're often delayed in traffic, stuck in an airport, or moving slowly in a crowd of people. Those that travel often must surrender a certain amount of control because they know it is impossible to plan every minute of the trip. They become accustomed to ever-changing schedules. With time and practice, they learn to adapt and accept it as part of the journey. Paul had originally intended to travel with Barnabas, but after this agreement, he took Silas as his traveling companion instead. This was a change in plans before the journey even began. Paul and Silas had a travel route mapped out, but when God showed them a different way, they adjusted their plans to fit God's leading. If we walk with God long enough, maybe we'll learn to expect Him to point out an alternate path. Will we surrender control of our life journey to God so that we follow His plan instead of our own? The hymn is "He Leadeth Me" by Joseph H. Gilmore. He leadeth me. By His own hands He leadeth me. His faithful follower I would be, for by His hand He leadeth me. And from the 9th Psalm, verse 10, those who know your name trust in you, for you, Lord, have never forsaken those who seek you. And this is your daily devotion for Monday, April the 18th. Have a blessed day.